It is 10:04. Call the meeting to order. Everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We remain standing for a minute, and I think it's appropriate that we have a prayer for not only the 13 military heroes that were killed recently, but everybody that has served in the armed forces. So just bear with us, and Chaplain, will you lead us in a meeting? I mean, in a prayer.
Uncover. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your blessings. We thank you for blessing our servicemen, our veterans, and our countrymen. We thank you for blessing our comrades in arms. We thank you for all the blessings we get, and we thank you for each day that we are able to pay tribute to our comrades, fighting for us, giving for us, and we thank you for letting us be here at this meeting. Bless this meeting and the outcomes. Let us make the right decisions. Forgive us for not making the right decisions. But thank you for allowing us the chance to do something about it. In Jesus' name, our Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
Be seated. Marshal, can we have a roll call?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
Representative from American Legion Post 59.
Present.
Is Mr. Montemayor, Cesar, or Mr. Gomez here?
Gomez should be on the way.
Okay, Mr. Cesar Montemayor? Oh, okay. Catholic War Veterans, Mr. Segovia, present. Disabled American Veterans. He had a doctor's appointment. And Mr. Cantu, we know about Mr. Cantu. Korean War Veterans, Mr. Sanchez. Laredo Veterans Coalition. Thick. LULAC Veterans, Mr. Vela, present. Marine Corps League, Mr. Alvarez.
Present.
South Texas Iraqi Veterans. Valor, Trevino. Veterans of Foreign Wars, Quijano. And Webb County Service Office, Mr. Garza's present. So, sir, you do have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda, we have communication and announcements. Do we have anybody that would like to communicate or make any announcements to this committee?
I'd like to make an announcement, sir. It's, last meeting, we had a item on the agenda pertaining to the WBCA, Mr. Segovia, for the veterans at the parade. I spoke with WBCA members, and they are in favor of doing what we requested, bringing up the veterans instead of being scattered throughout. We will be behind the dignitaries and politicians. We'll be after them as requested in order. So thank you very much for bringing it up, Mr. Segovia.
Great news. Also, just for everybody's information, the deadline or the cutoff time for items on the agenda is the Thursday before the meeting. Is that correct, Marshall?
Actually, it's Friday, but this Friday we were pretty busy, sir, with the funeral and stuff, so.
Right.
I know there were some items that wanted to be put on, and it was kind of late, so.
Correct, but it is Friday,
Friday
Friday,
before
5
5.
o'clock?
Yes, sir.
okay? Yes.
Sir, we skipped citizens' comment. We need a,
Citizens' comment, you're correct. Do we have any citizens that would like to make a comment and address this committee?
we have one here, sir, Mr. Arturo Garcia.
Good morning, Arturo Garcia for the record, former city employee. So just want to make that clear, I don't work for the city, so this is just Arturo Garcia, private resident, private owner here. Also, just for the committee's sake, I know most of you all, I'm a retired military major from the Army, so just kind of putting that out there also so that there's some understanding of that I am a veteran myself. The issue that I want to just kind of quickly discuss with the board was, well, one real quick thing, I don't understand why some of the board members are out here in the audience, they should be on the,
We won't fit up here, sir, if you put them all up
well, I
here.
mean, if they're all to consider. I know when I recommended to city manager and to staff and to management and to council, the composition of the board, it was to have the entities be representative because you all are the representatives of the majority of the veterans in the community. So I hope that, you know, that composition helps out in the decision-making for veteran issues as a whole, because this is the majority of the representatives of the entire community veterans that we have here. So I just want to comment on one major issue, which I think we need to start bringing back up to the table. And I know it was very divisive, it was very conflictive, it was very, there was a lot of issues with it, which is the Veterans Museum. And I'm not on any side of any site location or anything with the Veterans Museum, but I am concerned about an abandoned building that's been neglected by the city and the county located on Iturbide Street on the 800 block, which was a proposed site for the museum. And what I'm hoping to get from you all is that we start that conversation again so that a decision can be made on a location. I don't really care if it's there or if it's at the base. I think both locations are very viable. In fact, in my personal opinion, I think both are good sites and they both have different parts that, you can combine and grow together. But I really think we need to move on all these empty buildings. The city just passed an abandoned building ordinance to cite property owners for having abandoned buildings, and the city isn't even being a good manager of their own properties and has them abandoned and dilapidated. And that particular structure, I mean, is vacant and it's got homeless in the back. It's kind of ridiculous that, that site is so ugly and nasty, and you got all these private investors doing, investment on Iturbide. And, and you got nightlife and you got young ladies and young men going out there at night and they're tripping and there's people out there, there's homeless and, vagrants, out there. So, I mean, we're not making use of the property. And I just need, I would like this committee to make hopefully a supportive decision for one of the sites, so that way the city county can move on whether they're gonna do something with it or not. And whether it's a museum or not, I just care about the preservation of the building and the availability of the parking facilities there for all those people that come downtown to come to the entertainment area that's developing. I know you all probably have not, it's a much younger crowd, but you should check it out one night on a Friday or Saturday night. It gets packed. And there's young ladies walking from blocks away through all that area. It's very dark, but it's just an entertainment area. As safe as we think it might be, you never know. But that building is dilapidated. It's empty. It's a fire hazard. One of my priorities when I was in building department back then was, and the fire marshal knows it, is these dilapidated structures are the most dangerous thing out there for the firemen. And I'm very surprised that they're not tackling this as one of their top priorities. So that's what I got to say, Chairman, and I hope that the committee moves forward with this topic as a single item topic on the agenda in the future, because I think it's, with the current events that just happened, I think it's probably the best time to start discussing it again, to be able to honor those veterans that have served, like ourselves, and those that have, done the ultimate sacrifice so we can remember them and have a place to remember them also. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. Those are all my comments.
Thank you, Major.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'd like to, agree with his comment, well, I agree with his comments, but, specifically the one of the veterans coming up here, I agree, I think that there's enough seats, and if they're open to it and to be up here, I think that they could fill them in as they come in, and I don't know how you feel about that.
I feel, excuse me, I feel very strongly about that. Even at the first meeting where we had, I thought that we should not be up here and separated from the rest of our warriors. We are one, or trying to be one group, and the separation really, it's not, I'm not comfortable with that, to be very honest. So we either all move down there, or we obviously can't move everybody up here, but we got chairs everywhere. And certainly, the intent of this committee is to be able to gather all the veteran service organizations under one committee and have representation, like Major Garcia just said, to be able to have the consensus of any Veterans Affairs information or projects that we need to do. And I think that this kind of puts a barrier between the group. We do have 22 members, and we all should be involved as close together as possible. And I think that this does create a barrier.
Well, I don't know if you're comfortable with that, but I'd like to invite them to come up
Absolutely.
here and.
Anybody that,
fill in the
I think that
seats,
all the chairs should be available to anybody.
Just remark on that, it would be, I agree. Just for the record, I agree with what you're saying, sir, ma'am. Maybe if you're thinking of a table, maybe where we're all together, we're at the same level, that could work too. I just don't know if there's a city chamber office or somewhere where there's a big conference table and we can all sit at the same level.
We do have one, but the only deal is that they told us they wanted it here
Oh,
because
okay.
of the recording.
Okay.
But we could,
And that's one of the major issues, you know, that, so that the meeting can be recorded, and this has all the capabilities of being
Oh,
able to
okay.
do that. However, I do feel that there is a separation
Yeah.
between us, and that, like we spoke at the last meeting, that, you know, everybody can make a motion and second, and it's involved, at least the 11 primary
Right,
members.
yeah, 11 votes max.
Correctly.
I do, Mr. Chairman, just one small comment, Councilman Perez can probably certainly agree with this. There's plenty of other facilities. The city's made a lot of efforts to modernize, while I was there, to have recording facilities and a lot of other bigger conference rooms that can facilitate these meetings. You might just want to consider some of the other
we
options.
can look into it.
So that way, it's an even split, like the library's a good one too. It's got a round table to it, got more than 15, 20 seats.
Absolutely, we are here because that's how it was mandated when this committee was formed by the city. And we applaud the city for doing that, and all the members that, from all the service organizations. We have tried to do this in the past, and it's never really worked the way we wanted to. This has got the beginnings of working to accomplish what we need to accomplish. But we do need to be in the same level. I do feel uncomfortable being up here, to be very honest, because that's not what it's meant to be. We're meant to be just one big group of several organizations, veterans organizations, and I think it gives the impression that there's a division between us, and it shouldn't be that.
Yes, I agree. I think that that's a great point, and I think if there are other facilities, maybe that would work better.
Okay,
And we can,
I'll look into it.
okay.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
For-
Any other
for next
comments, communications? Thank you very much. So, now we go to the items on the agenda. And I think we need to have a new ink on the copier, or my eyesight is getting worse. Discussion and possible action on renaming the pavilion at the cemetery to Rodriguez Espinosa Pavilion and any matters incident thereto. Before I open it up for any discussions, I would like to speak a little bit about this. About a year or so ago, but let me go back even further than that. There has been different organizations trying to find more plots at the city cemetery, or even creating a VA cemetery in this area. There was a great concern that we were running out of space for us to go and spend the rest of our lives in. About a year or so ago, the task of exploring how we can improve the city cemetery was given to John Orfila. And if I make a wrong statement, anybody out here can correct me, because I was not involved with this organization or this group from the very beginning. But John Orfila reached out to some veterans, and let me tell you that there was veterans from all branches of services that got together, and they've been getting together for a little over a year, and they were able to find enough land at the city cemetery for 30 to 35 years lifespan. And obviously that's great news. The building of the pavilion. All of this was done by a group of 25 to 30 veterans that volunteered to get together. No mandates, no organization. There was just a group of warriors trying to find a place for a final resting place for veterans. Most, if not all of the veterans that have been meeting for this cause, or Vietnam veterans, there's some Korean veterans, and we're the ones that are looking to find a final resting place for us and for those that are going to follow from us. This group has done an outstanding job in being able to do that. They were able to build a pavilion, and as you saw it or have seen it, it's a very nice place. They were able to find more space, and I'm not going to name any names because I don't know all of them and I don't want to miss anybody, but there was a lot of good work done. And I think that this should be left to that group to decide what's happening at the cemetery. Besides that, the last time that this group met, and I was honored and privileged to be invited to a couple of these meetings, this particular pavilion was voted on and named Heroes Hall. I believe that it's an appropriate name because we don't want to identify one single individual, family, military branch. I think it belongs to all of us. It belongs to even the people who are not in the military, because it is in the city cemetery. And it's a pavilion that is extremely nice, and I believe that name should be kept, because I think it will cover everybody and everybody's need. And I would hope that the young warriors that are here could understand that we, as mostly Vietnam veterans and Korean veterans, we are looking to make sure that our families do not have to worry about when we pass on, where we're going to be buried, what's going to happen. And those are the kind of conversations that are going on right now. And I believe that this group has done a tremendous, tremendous job. And I feel that we should just keep that name that was bestowed on by this particular group some time back. So I'll open it up to the public or the veterans for any discussion. Yes, sir.
Morning, Chairman. My name is Ricardo Quijano, for the record.
Morning.
When this came across, it's, like you said, it's not about one individual or two individuals. When you pass away, sir, you're going to go through there. When I pass away, I'm going to go through there. And the way I see it, all heroes, all veterans are going to pass through there. For myself, and I already spoke to Commander Salazar, and we're in agreement. And other veterans that I spoke to, sir, the proper way, it's Heroes Hall, and keep it as Heroes Hall, because it's not about Afghanistan veterans. It's not about Iraq veterans. It's not about Vietnam veterans. It's not about Korean War veterans. It's about all of us passing through there. And going back, Mr. Orfila has done an outstanding job. When I first got back from the military, I told my wife, I want to be cremated. When I saw the cemetery, it was bad.
Yes.
We started went to a couple meetings, and Mr. Orfila did a great job of aligning the two headstones, dress right dress, columns, and now the pavilion, where all deceased veterans will pass through. and the honor of having it as Heroes Hall should stand, sir. That is it.
Absolutely. Thank you for your comments.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Mr. Segovia, would you like to discuss a little bit about the work that has been done out there with the?
Good morning.
Morning.
I didn't quite hear his comments on the renaming that pavilion.
For the record, Mr. Segovia, your name?
Jesus Segovia, for the record.
Thank you.
As mentioned before, we had voted on this pavilion to be named Heroes Hall, which I believe is a very appropriate name. Some years back, when Charlie San Miguel was councilman, he called me requesting my idea as to what I thought about naming a particular park after a Laredo veteran. And I told Charlie that that would open up a can of worms because not only was that one veteran, but there was 27 veterans that died in Vietnam. And he wanted to name that park after one of them. And I told Charlie that the best thing that we could do is rename North Central Park as Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park at North Central Park. So he put it on the agenda for city council, and on that particular same day, on that particular meeting, it was voted on and approved to rename it Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park at North Central Park. Yesterday, I ran into Captain Heriberto Garcia, who was the first Vietnam veteran that was killed in Vietnam from Laredo. I mentioned to her that my next project is on that empty piece of land left of the bathrooms as we go into the park, that we are proposing a Vietnam Veterans Memorial Walking Trail.
Sir, sorry, just can I interrupt real quick, Chairman? That's an agenda item 3.
It's, there's an item on the agenda concerning that, but I believe it's being concerned with Bartlett Park. On the other,
Yes, we
the
do.
other agenda is there.
Right, we do, did
talked
we
about
jump
it.
or, I
Yeah.
missed it if we jumped, I'm sorry.
No, he didn't jump. We're still talking about the naming of the, but he's just referring to that.
He's just
Oh.
referring why we should
Oh,
not be
okay, I'm
named.
sorry, Mr.
we should
Segovia,
not be
I saw
named to
the
one
agenda item
particular
and I'm- okay.
organization or one particular person. Why
Right.
it should be able to honor everybody.
Everybody, okay, I understand, sorry, I
That's
was
what he's
like,
talking about, and why is it that we should keep it that way?
okay.
Yeah.
I understand, thank you.
So that is one of the reasons that it would open up a can of worms to name or address a particular park under one person, you know. As much as I feel that we have a true hero in David and the other person that died in Iraq, I feel that the appropriate name right now for that is Heroes Hall. And I will come back on the other part of the walking trail.
Thank you, Mr. Segovia. And let me just say also that this particular pavilion is situated in the city cemetery, Veterans section. But there's other citizens of Laredo that bear there, and believe me, all of us have a hero. You know, so while it is primarily to honor the veterans, I mean, there's somebody else that's be buried in that cemetery that's not in the veterans section that they also have heroes. I mean, little girls and little boys, most of our fathers are heroes. So therefore, I do think it's appropriate, and I will entertain a motion to that effect, that we keep the name of Heroes Hall at the City Cemetery Pavilion built by John Osfila and his staff and a group of 25 to 30 veterans that have been doing some very good work in finding a place for us to go rest.
But what's the motion?
But I haven't made a motion. I'm waiting for somebody to make a motion, but I will make the motion. We have a motion that we keep the name Heroes Hall at the Pavilion at the City of Laredo Cemetery. A second by Mr. Quijano. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those against? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
And, excuse me, in respect to, Mr. Quijano is, mentioned in that he, that he has intentions of getting cremated, and thanking John Orfila for the tremendous work that he's done. I know that, some of us veterans that were involved in the improvements of the cemetery, and it really became a reality when John Orfila took over. David Paredes is a cemetery director there. He has done a tremendous job together with John Orfila. Again, some years back, I came before City Council with a group of veterans requesting funds to bring in some columbariums for all veterans, as myself, who wanted to be cremated. At that point, there was no columbariums at the veteran cemetery, so I had done some research on it, and each columbarium was running $9,000 delivered to Laredo, FOB Laredo. And so at that particular meeting also, City Council approved to sponsor $9,000 for the purchase of one columbarium. From there, I went to the county, and they also agreed to pay to put up $9,000 for a second columbarium. It just happened that Salinas Trust Fund, what's his name?
Fernando?
Yeah. He was at one of the meetings, and he said, you know what? He said, I'll donate another $9,000. And that is the reason that we have 3 columbariums in Laredo. Right now, two of our columbariums are already full. We are starting on the 3rd one. Each columbarium has 48 niches, okay? And those niches will accommodate 2 5x5 urns, so husband and wife can go in there. And so right now I'm working on getting the purchase price of 2 more columbariums, but this time I'm going to go with 100 niches on each one. That will give us an extra 200 niches, and we already have a space reserved to place those columbariums. And David is working with me on that as far as not using that space at all, which is right next to the ones that we have right now. And so hopefully, God willing, by our next meeting, I will have some information on those columbariums, and we can present it before the City Council and Commissioner's Court to see if we can get 2 more columbariums donated. And as of right now, we still have about 46 niches available. And that's for all the veterans that wish to be cremated. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to expound a little bit more on that, at the last meeting that this group of veterans that were met, there was a discussion about building a cover over those columbariums so that can protect it even more. So they are genuinely doing great work. So anyway, just to continue with the agenda, and I'm sorry about my phone, but I need the flashlight so I can read this thing. Discussing and possible action regarding tiny homes for homeless veterans and any matters. Mr. Quijano?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Ricardo Quijano again for the record. The status on the tiny homes here in Laredo, Texas is the City of Laredo staff, the mayor, Jose Ceballos, who works for the Laredo Housing Authority, also made a trip to San Antonio to see the homes. They were ecstatic. They saw it. They want They want more. Yeah, and that's what we're working on, Chairman. Logistically, right now, I have Lupita Gutierrez here with me, bridging the gap. Alberto Sanchez also, which they're going to give you more detail into the status of the tiny homes. We said 10, however, just to let you all know, we can get more, all right? The logistics, right? It's being confirmed that we got someone going to pick them up and bringing them to Laredo. The only thing we need are the actual dimensions of the homes so they can be transported down here to Laredo. We're working exactly where they're going to be stationed at. We spoke to Jose Ceballos. Jose Ceballos said we could keep them at his place. They could make any modifications, adjustments in order to meet inspections with the city building department. So that's good. We're doing it. Mr. Chairman, he also said, one thing I always kept in mind is the cost. With organizations, nonprofit organizations such as Bridging the Gap, helping us, uniting, we're trying to bring the least amount, of taxpayers' money to be used. That's one of my goals, all right? And Lupita here is going to say more about it, what's going on in
So
Alberto Sanchez.
before you, Lupita, you come into the mic, the last meeting we discussed the possibility of the tiny homes being absorbed or managed by the Laredo Housing Authority, and with Mr. Ceballos involved. Is that what the cities have in mind?
One house, right? Well, you said the building, the light, the water, VFW can sponsor for one home.
Chairman, being in that meeting with Jose and the Housing Authority, we were set to put it up on the agenda, but due to circumstances that were out of our control, so we decided to just kind of wait, bring it back to us here, and discuss, and then put it on the agenda as soon as possible. We just gotta get the wording right and get the input from the committee. And as far as on that particular meeting, it went very well. Mr. Quijano hit the main point, which is they're willing to assist and help. Obviously, there's gotta be some MOU to be considered and drafted. But that would probably come with the help of the city, the city and the Housing Authority's legal department to kind of just make sure we do it right and correctly.
But I know that there was an urgency in being able to move those homes out of the location or present location. Was that taken care of? Is still there? The urgency is still there, or can you just enlighten us on that when you do come to Mike, Lupita? Thank you.
Okay, just real quick, for the location where they're going to be stationary for the long-term use, I already sent an email.
What I remember, Mr. Quijano, that in San Antonio, they had an urgency to remove them from the location they were at.
Okay, that would be,
Right,
and I'll introduce
because
you.
that was a concern of everybody, that they had to be moved rather quickly.
Yes, sir, and that's where Ms. Lupita is going to.
All right.
Well, hello, thank you for having me again. So I'm excited to be here today because he didn't do the announcement justice. And I told him there's a big game changer now. When the mayor showed up, not only with the director of Laredo Housing Authority, but several directors from the Laredo Housing Authority. I think he brought all of the directors to San Antonio. Yes, and engineers, and they toured the houses, they inspected the houses, they were hands-on. Pastor Robles was very generous, and you did not do this justice, but Laredo is not getting 10 homes. Laredo is getting 75 homes.
Wow.
He's willing to donate 75 homes to Laredo because he saw that the mayor showing up in good faith was the city of Laredo is interested in this project. So that's the way the announcement should have been made. No, I'm kidding. 75 homes. And let me tell you, so when this happened, we were kind of taken aback because we were just happy with the 10 homes they wanted to give us prior to our last conversation and me being here. you know, that's what we were expecting, you know. So the conversation then shifts to a bigger conversation. And right now, and Albert will talk about, we have each one of us have a duty. Commander Salazar couldn't be here. So he'll talk about the transport. Albert Sanchez is in charge of transport and lodging of these houses, temporary lodging and permanent lodging, and networking those, you know, those resources. My role in this, I went ahead and stepped up and said, since I'm, you know, connected with so many nonprofit organizations, we're talking about funding and getting grants. So that's where I come in, the funding and connecting with Laredo networks, because I'm connected over there. And let me tell you, since there's a little bit of a buzz around this project now, like I said before in the last meeting, I said, and I work with nonprofit, once projects like this, at the end of the day, we all want to help our community. We want to bless our veterans. Our veterans come first, our seniors come first. You know, other organizations start jumping on. Okay, so what do you need? How can we do this? You know, and we're very, the way that I work, and I work with a lot of politicians as well, we're very cautious on where we get our resources, where we pull them. We need contracts. It's a lot of logistics. So definitely a game changer, but everything's looking to the positive. I had a brief conversation with the mayor. He's interested in helping us in whatever capacity we can. He's even mentioned maybe there's a couple of blocks we can level, or there's some land. So like I said, this conversation shifted. But it's an exciting conversation, and Pastor Robles was very happy that Laredo showed up, because that's what happens with this project, and that's what's happened for the past 2 years, is that cities like that have been offered this opportunity cannot come together and work together for the better, you know, for this project to bring it on. With that being said, that's my role in this. I'm committed. So I'm actually coming in a few weeks. I'll be here stationed all week, just networking and meeting organizations and doing my part in this project. So like I said, and I'm here today for your meeting. I'm committed 100%. I see how hard they work, and yeah, Laredo's my hometown, so I want to help bless it.
Thank you.
And Albert can tell you more about where we stand on the lodging. Like I said, a lot of people have been offering. I know, Mr. Vela, you offered some land to put temporary, you know, and so that's the phase that we're doing, and he'll give you a little bit more update on all that.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm here. Yes, as far as
For the
lodging-
record, your name, please?
Yes, my name is Alberto Sanchez. We're working on transportation as far as getting them here. My goal is to get them here in the next 3 weeks. Have them here. We're trying to find. I know you offered a place to store them, since the game changed from, you know, having 10 to 68. We don't want to. I mean 75. We don't want to put you in any type of vine where, you know, they might not fit there, everything. So I'm working on trying to find, just in case, as a backup plan, you know, to store the rest of them if they don't fit. Find a place so that we can store the rest of the homes when they get here. I'm trying to find some resources, and I have been already contacting several transporting companies who are going to actually bring them over here at no charge. So just working out the last details as far as size, everything, so they know what type of truck to transport and everything. So we're working hard on that.
Very good. Thank you.
I will
Great-
say
great
also,
news.
Can I
Sure,
mention
go ahead.
something I forgot, and I wanted to give these organizations a
Step
shout
to the
out.
mic, please.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to give some organizations. So again, my role in this is networking. So I work with the Red, White, and Blue organization and Wounded Warriors. They, when this project does get up and rolling, I think that these kind of organizations are going to be a pivotal part. I think that involving the younger veterans also as well to you know, step up for their community and their city is going to be vital. And they gather them together. They help paint. They help build ramps. I mean, they do so much. I've seen them in action. They help a lot of cities around Texas. They travel, so they're not just stationary. So I'm hoping that these are the kind of organizations that we want to team up with, you know, in order to get that. As I said last time, the houses were built, our labor of love. And the majority were volunteers, painted, decorated, you know, through these organizations offering, you know, couches and TVs and, you know, putting stuff in the homes for our veterans. So I just wanted to shout out to those organizations, because I think that it's important that we work with all organizations that are veteran led.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I comment?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. So I just want to thank you all for all your hard work on this project. I know that, you all are really pushing it and I feel like it will come to fruition and I can see it on the horizon, so I'm excited, for all the work that you all have done. I just wanted to add, Mr. Chairman, that I actually have a meeting right now at 11, but if there's any council action that needs to be taken, we have until tomorrow to put agenda items for Monday's council meeting. So if you need anything, I don't know if Mr. Jimenez can coordinate with me. If there's something that you all need from council, we could put it on to discuss on Monday. So,
At the council, city council meeting?
Yes,
for
ma'am.
Laredo?
yes, ma'am.
Is this some, do you think that, in your opinion, do you think that that we're in the point of our project where we should announce it, or should we have more intel, more update? Like, what's your opinion on that?
Well, it just depends on if there's anything that you are requesting from council, from the city, then we would have to take action as a council. But if right now you're still putting everything together and it's not ready, then we can bring it back later on. So if you need something, and that's something that council would have to decide, you know, just offering we have until tomorrow to put it on the agenda.
So, I did want to say, I know that we are gonna need an MOU if maybe, and I don't know, this would go on city council, but maybe letting them know, the legal department, if they can kind of start drafting a memorandum of understanding, or just giving them the okay that when we're ready and we need it done, to not have to wait 2 weeks to come back to city council. I do not know if that's something that can be put on there, worded something like that. But go ahead, that's your expertise.
Yes, no, yeah, that would definitely go on council, the MOU or just the agreement part of it, if there's like a piece of land of the city property that we would be using for this, I don't know. I have to talk to the mayor about what his thoughts were on a piece of property, but I can go ahead and get with the mayor later today and about that property and about the MOU and see if we need to put it on the agenda. I don't know if you're still gonna be in town on Monday. If not, we can put it for the next one.
No, I can come if I need to be here. I would say, there was one question from a possible donor that's wanting to donate land, and this land is actually in a really good location. I don't wanna disclose any of that information, but
Okay.
I know one of the questions was, and I don't know, I can't answer this, it would be a question for a city, he was asking about taxes, about property taxes. If he donates this land, is he gonna be taxed, or how does that work? And therefore, the conversation goes a little bit more deeper than what we can, or I can answer. So definitely have to come to Laredo and make some meetings with you maybe.
Yeah, if you would like to not have to disclose the donor, we could talk about that on the back end.
Yes.
Because I know that once you don't, a lot of times they will donate land because it does relieve you of your, once you donated it, you're not responsible for paying anything anymore, so.
Okay, yeah, he just wanted, and these are questions, again, I can't answer. But
Right.
it's part of my coming to Laredo and networking over
Well,
here.
we can talk later
Yes.
today if you want. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm gonna excuse myself at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for meeting again and all the work that you all are doing.
Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you. Thank you for being here.
Okay, next item on the agenda. Discussion with possible action to name a Vietnam Veterans Memorial walking trails, and any matters is in there too. Take care. Mr. Segovia?
Thank you for coming.
What, before we
Segovia,
start,
for the record.
just want to say my apologies on earlier. I really thought we jumped and I was like, did I miss it? So my apologies
No,
on that earlier.
No problem. no
Thank you,
problem.
sir.
Thank you. Yes, on this walking trail, I'm working right now with 2 architects, and they're getting an aerial view of that land that we want to propose this walking trail at. And it just happens that this walking trail is so similar to the outline of Vietnam, right? So what I'm requesting from them is to form a walking trail in the outline of Vietnam, right? And to spot 27 positions for 27 trees. And also, along the way, name places like Nha Trang, Chu Lai, Central Highlands, and
Hometown.
yeah, so, MK, all those, okay, so, down here, Cameron Bay and all those other places, okay? More or less make it a visual deal about Vietnam, which would be, I think a very good idea. Anyway, I ran into, Captain Heriberto Garcia's wife, oldest daughter yesterday, and I ran the idea, with her, and about the 27 trees named after each veteran that died in Vietnam. And she said that she would donate not only one, but as many trees as we need, that she would commit to that. I said, well, hopefully, we will first bring it up with the families of the veterans that died in Vietnam to see if they want to donate that tree. And if not, I said, we have plenty of sponsors that are willing to. Like you mentioned, Roque,
Right.
you also, myself also, I'm
Right.
willing to donate. Anyway, this is where we're at right now. And hopefully, like you mentioned, I don't know, maybe I can have something by next council meeting, if not by the following. So as soon as I have that outline, I will present it to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Segovia.
Thank you.
Any comments on this particular item? Next item on the agenda.
Just real quick,
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
Mr. Silva, you said along the path, can you explain? Sir, up here, please. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Quijano here, Ricardo Quijano for the record. It's a great idea, doing the trail, a walking trail. It's gonna be at North Central, you said?
Well, see, there's an empty site on the left
Yes.
side of
Yes.
the bathrooms, right?
Yes, sir.
And this is where we have proposed the museum,
Yes,
which they knocked us down on that.
yes, sir.
And so now, the reason they knocked us down on that was because they said they wanted more greenery out there. They didn't want to disturb the wildlife that's there, whatever wildlife there is.
Yes, sir.
And that it would be a better idea to build any kind of buildings there, okay?
Yep.
So, my next idea was to build that walking trail there. And let's say that you have a 4 feet or 5 feet wide walking trail. Well, along that trail, plant a tree with a plaque of each veteran that died there, describing when he got killed, how he got killed, and which I have all that information already.
That's a great idea, and we thought about it, and the plaque, it's gonna be like, in other words, educational. It's gonna be an educational.
Absolutely,
An educational
absolutely.
plaque where the people walking.
Absolutely.
Right, and having every fallen hero that
Yes.
has KIA, whether, it be Vietnam, Korea, and so forth. I mean, that's a great idea. And how about expanding it through North Central Park? I don't know if that's a better idea.
Well, the thing is this, that the other trail that is already there,
Yes,
there's a lot of people riding on that one with bicycles and dogs and all this. This is a more kind of private walking trail, for everybody, of course.
yes, sir.
But we do plan to implement that you cannot have bicycles riding around there, it's a walking trail,
All right.
okay?
No
And I also commented on our last meeting that I believe that, like your organization, Mr. Sanchez, Korean War veterans, that your representative from your region pick out a park and name it after you, and perhaps recognize and honor, let's say, Iraq-Afghanistan Park, Korean War Veterans Park, there are several parks in Laredo that I believe that we can name them under the different organizations or war the organizations, you know, like Iraq, Afghanistan, Korean War veterans, maybe. We don't have one
we
more.
are, excuse me, Chairman, we are moving away from the item
Yes.
on the agenda.
Yeah.
But there's an item on the agenda, the last item, I think, that can be more appropriately discussed at that time.
Just quick question. I think if I'm understanding correctly, what you're saying, Mr. Segovia and Mr. Quijano, is this is to honor our Vietnam fallen heroes from Laredo, Texas.
Exactly.
Correct.
And I think where Mr. Quijano might be misunderstanding, but I could be mistaken, is it's not necessarily organization, it's war, right? Like
War,
each different
right.
era of war. Is that what you were trying to say, not organization?
Correct. I agree
Mr.
with
Segovia?
you.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because that would make a little bit more sense, because it would, you know, to be the different eras, not an organization.
It's a great idea having the plaque, the educational plaque.
I
Yeah.
think that, Mr. Quijano, you were leading to the fact that maybe there was enough room to be able to incorporate the Afghanistan, Iraq, war in that project.
Well,
Is that what you were trying to lead to?
in a way, halfway, you're kind of like halfway meeting me there, Chairman.
Yeah.
To me, this is my opinion. This is just Ricardo Quijano speaking, sir. It's not, just because I went to Afghanistan, Chairman, doesn't mean it's,
No,
to me,
but-
to me, it's everyone.
Everybody should need to be recognized. And
Yes.
There's an item
Yes.
on the agenda that we can discuss that in a little bit.
Yes.
Let's stay with
Yes.
with the item on this agenda with the Vietnam Memorial Walking Trail. And as it develops, and we can maybe incorporate it or maybe not, but they're still in the planning stages.
Yes, sir.
But we do need to stay with the agenda, and if it can be incorporated, then maybe it can happen, because the last item on the agenda deals with your era of the conflicts or wars, and very appropriately. I mean, all of us need to be recognized. So as it develops, maybe it can be incorporated, maybe not. We can discuss it. Mr. Segovia said you had some engineers, maybe next time you can bring some kind of sketch. But I can tell you that there's a lot of land at North Central Park, but at the same time, there's limited land on how it can be used because of the wetlands there.
Chairman, just want to say something to Mr. Segovia, as you're the committee chair of, I'm assuming you're the committee chair of this event. Last time we discussed this, I said I would donate a tree. I would like to donate the tree that is within my family's name of fallen hero. On behalf of my mother-in-law and her extended family, I'd like to buy that one.
Okay.
If you can just earmark that one for me, sir, I will take care of that.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So, great idea, sir.
Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action to create, no, that's not it. Discussion and possible action on obtaining a Soldier's Cross monument to honor all veterans at the city cemetery and in matters incident there too. Again, before we go any further on this, I'd like to say a few words on this. And it goes back to what we started this meeting with on the veterans. I have been meeting with John Orfila in making the city cemetery veteran section an appropriate or more appropriate place for us that have begun or planning to begin our final journey in this life. And I think that the appropriate place for this matter to be discussed is with this group of veterans, 25, 30 veterans, to continue working as to how to make this place a more accessible, a place where our families can go and visit, hopefully us, and anybody else that comes after us. And the reason I say this is because there's several projects being discussed by this group. We talked about the columbariums. We talked about a roof over them. There's discussion going on about a Gold Star family monument that is really, really nice. And so there's expenses that are coming in together, even though I do agree that a Soldier's Cross is very appropriate at that location. I think that, maybe this group that has been working so diligently and putting a lot of hard work in creating this area for us to go rest, should handle this particular item. But I'll open it up for discussion. Anybody?
I think Soldier's Cross is very appropriate. It's been the symbol of our fallen hero since day one, the first war, the first battle, before they had the ability to transport the soldier back to the United States. They would bury and they would put a cross, his rifle, boots, and helmet to mark the spot where he was at so they could go later and recover the remains. And it didn't pertain to Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It didn't pertain to a particular service, and it didn't pertain to a particular war. It pertained to the victim, the soldier. Memorial to the service and sacrifice. We don't have one. I'm the commander of the honor guards that does the veterans' funerals, and I personally place the rifle, boots, and a helmet to memorialize the veteran that's being buried. And I have gotten so many comments that they've never seen that before. I don't know why. They've never seen it. It's popular among soldiers from the other wars. And they're dying off, we're dying off. But the Soldier's Cross will remain. And I feel that this is something that will represent, symbolize the service and sacrifice of our fallen heroes, the Soldier's Cross. Anybody else?
There is no doubt, Mr. Alvarez, that it is appropriate and it should be there, and I agree with you. I don't know why it has not been there before. The problem is that there is several projects being done, and all of this costs money, and we don't have a budget to work with. I mean, this committee does not have a budget to work with. There are several items that have been discussed, Mr. Segovia approach, that will take a fair amount of money. The columbaries that we're talking about. We're talking about this Gold Star Family Monument that is really extremely land. That's somewhere around $90,000. Whether it's going to be done or not, I don't know. But there's several already being discussed. This being one of them also, and I think all of them should be discussed at the same time, because otherwise we don't have any funds that we can tap to say, okay, we can do this. But as far as voting in favor of doing it, yes, I agree with you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to, before Mr. Zoya speaks, I like the idea that you're putting forward of Mr. John Orfila. Some of y'all may or may not know, he was one of the most instrumental backbone, one of the components that made this past 2.5 weeks possible and run very smoothly. I personally have a lot of faith in, after seeing John or Mr. Orfila perform and what he did, and this past 2.5 weeks, and seeing what he's done with the cemetery, and how professional he is about it, and I think we should consider what you're saying to have maybe him lead this project. Obviously, we would have to ask him, and if he would accept, or put him in our committee to help us chair this. I agree with you, Chairman, that would be amazing. If allotted, I would like to make the motion for that after Mr. Segovia speaks.
And more important, just to follow up, Segovia, more important, he has a budget.
Yeah.
And he can, and budget hearings are gonna start here in about 3 weeks here.
Yes, sir.
So the sooner we can pass it on to him and just designate that we approve this for him to take the lead on it, because he has a budget and he can put in his budget for next year. And we don't have a budget. So that's why I think it's appropriate. It's not that I'm trying to say we shouldn't act on it, but we have no
Right,
funds.
yeah, and that's why,
Right.
that's why I agree with you, sir.
Okay, okay, what I was gonna say about this cross, there's different versions of it.
Yes.
But the most popular one is the one with the rifle, the helmet, and all this, okay?
Right.
So I was gonna suggest, we have an outstanding, departments in our high schools, like, I believe Mr. Pro is still, principal at Martin High?
Yes,
Okay, they do an outstanding job when it comes to creating, as they have done already there at the high school, okay? I believe if we give a picture or an idea of this, because it's actually a silhouette, you know? And if we give this idea to Mr. Pro, I bet he would be delighted to work on this project and donate it to us. All we have to do is pay for the materials, okay? Because he has promised to do that before with me. He said, look, whatever you guys need, let me know, and I can work with you on whatever you need, because he's a tremendous supporter of veterans. As a matter of fact, every year he invites us, he used to invite our coalition on Veterans Day, or a day or two before, you know, and feed us, you know, for dinner there at the library. So he is very much into veterans, and he loves to build things like that. It might be an idea where he could do a tremendous, beautiful design of this cross, ¿verdad? With his people that work there in you know, in arts and crafts and all that. I don't know, just an idea.
it is a good idea, and they do a very good job.
Yeah, they do. So-
His father was the manager of manufacturing,
See?
and he did tremendous work, so he has a background to be able to do
Yeah.
that.
So it might be, you know, and all we have to do is provide the materials. That's it.
Mr. Garza?
So, Chairman, I make a motion to move forward with this project. It seems to be unanimous that we do want this to happen. And to ask Mr. John Orfila if he can help us head this project and hand it over to him and work as a committee with him, taking the lead on this project. That would be my motion.
There's a second? We have a motion and a second to ask Mr. Orfila to take the lead on placing a soldier's cross at the city cemetery. All those in favor? I'm sorry?
What? Yeah.
Well, that's why we're doing it,
Yeah,
because he does have a budget.
Yes, sir.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies. Last item on the agenda is an item that we briefly talked about it a little while ago. But again, I need my flashlight. We need to put some ink on that copier.
Yes, sir.
Marshall, huh?
No hay dinero, sir.
No hay dinero. Discussion and possible action to have a Desert Storm Iraq Afghanistan monument at Jarvis Plaza and any matters incident there too. Without a doubt, gentlemen, without a doubt, that is very appropriate.
Chairman, for the record, my name is Gabriel Lopez.
Mr. Lopez?
I'm the one that placed this item on the agenda. And I do believe that this is an expense that the city can incur. I did the research on the monuments that are there on Veterans Plaza, formerly Jarvis Plaza, and those were erected by the city decades ago, and recently the Vietnam veterans. So with the budget talk coming up with the city, I think that we should ask the city to set some monies aside for this monument and to work with us as to, you know, what it would look like. And it doesn't have to be a grandiose type of monument. We can emulate the ones that are already there, so there will be inconsistency. It'll be just a block, concrete or granite, whatever the material that was used, and we can name it in that sense. The reason why I'm speaking out is because like I said, I do believe that this is an expense that the city can incur. Thank you.
No doubt, and now that the war has officially been declared over, is the appropriate time to be able to do something like this. And
The current patriotic hubris that is going around the city, I think, it'll catch on.
Sir, I have a question. What are we looking at, price-wise, so we can move forward?
No more than 25,000, I suppose. We can put a cap on the monument, but, you know, the money does, it's the engraving that's gonna cost, because the block is just a block. And I'm sure there has to be a base at the bottom, a foundation. And that is, those covers are by the Department of Public Works. I don't know which department will take care of that. But it would be just about the purchasing of that, and then the engraving, what we decide to go on there.
Two things.
Let me, before we continue, let me read the committee mission statement, just so we know exactly what our job here is. To advise the city council on issues pertaining to veterans and veterans programs that will enhance the welfare of those Laredo citizens that have served in the armed forces. And that's exactly what we're gonna do here.
Yeah, we're gonna.
We are gonna advise the city council that we believe that, that a monument should be erected honoring the Desert Storm, Iraq, Afghanistan conflict or war. And from then, they can take the lead and bring an idea, and especially for you young warriors that were there. Obviously, you're gonna have the input as to what would you like to have there. Well, let's just make the motion where we direct this, the city council to establish a memorial there.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Quijano first.
I move that we,
Well, come to, please, Mr. Segovia.
I think it's very deserving that Iraq, Afghanistan have a memorial there, or, honoring their people, because there's already Vietnam, there's Korean War veterans, there's World War II, and the only ones that are missing are them. So I know there is several people in Laredo that work with marble. And like you said, the only thing would be the engraving, right? I don't think that's a problem. I think that is something that is very doable here in Laredo, and it should be brought and put on the agenda of City Council to work on that and make it happen.
Yeah, and let's not put a price, let the city come back with recommendations, because it could be more, it could be less, but something that you, the veterans, the young warriors that were there, approve. Because that's who needs to make the Exactly.
I agree, but I believe before we go to city council, we need an idea, like on paper, not just talk about it. We need like a design or something.
So, Chairman,
can't just-
I gotta say this because if I'm not mistaken, I am like 95% sure there is a monument there for Desert Storm already. I'm like,
It
so,
could be, I don't know.
yeah, so I'm like 95% sure there is. So it really would just be the Iraq, yeah.
Iraq, Afghanistan.
Yeah, I just had to say it because I kept on, nobody's had mentioned that
But
before.
basically, Desert Storm happened in Iraq.
In 1990, yes, it's
Yeah,
its own
it's a-
conflict.
yeah.
It's its own Gulf War,
Sure.
or Persian War, as we actually would call
Well,
it.
basically, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll leave it today, Mr. Quijano. You want to make a motion?
Well, I need a discussion.
Okay, so go ahead.
Chairman, I totally agree with, Mr. Lopez. Do we need one? Yes,
Yes.
you're right. And like, Mr. David Garza said, there is a Desert Storm, right, monument. So the only one that would be needed is the Iraq and Afghanistan,
Okay.
right? So we do need one. I don't know if you know, Chairman, in September 25th, because September 26th, it's Gold Star. It's the Gold Star Mothers are honored. On the 25th, the VFW, Webb County Veteran Service Office, is going to do an unveiling of the Gold Star Mothers, which is going to be at Jarvis Plaza. I don't know if you knew that, Chairman. Did you?
No, I did not.
There is one. And the idea came from Sanchez, brought it to our organizations, and we ran with it. Right. Mr. Lopez, I do not agree, it's having the city to pay for it. I think we should meet them halfway. If you want, we can assist, we can help. But at the same time, it's not just about us, Chairman. It's, for the Gold Star mothers, we didn't ask for the monies. The monies were donated, right? And having to burden the city, that's just my opinion. Ours is gonna get done. The city did help us build the foundation. They're helping us, right? But the monument itself, we got it done, and it got done. It's almost gonna be 5 feet tall for 3.5 around there. And it was bought here locally through the Laredo Monument.
All we can do is recommend to the city.
Yes, and that should be, but would recommend, but not burning the city. That's what, we're not here to do
And,
that.
and you're right, and I can tell you, what I do know this is, in the Vietnam, 27 families, I believe 25 families got together and pitched in and had raffles and bingos and things like that to raise money to build something for their fallen heroes.
Yes, sir.
They did it on their own. So yes, you're right. I mean, it can be a private-public project.
Yes, sir.
But right now, what we need to do is just
Get it started.
start a motion or pass a motion that we direct the city to look into doing this, and then all the logistics can come together. Whether it'll be all city, it'll be all private, or a combination
Or a
of private, public. I mean, right now, we just need to get the ball going.
And
Get it on the record that the Iraq-Afghanistan war memorial should be built.
Yes.
How it's built, then that will come later on.
Roger.
Sir, if I can, so if I'm understanding correctly, and all the ideas sound excellent, I think at this moment in time, we should maybe just ask the city to start looking into creating this, saving a spot where we want to have it in Jarvis Plaza, and then all the details can be worked out in a whole different meeting or committee,
Absolutely.
whether how much is sponsored, not sponsored, and all that. I can form that in a motion. However, I know that Mr. Lopez wants to say a few words.
Yeah, well, I just want to put some things into perspective. The city has to go out there and look and find a spot, because accordingly, there could be some pipes underneath, there could be something. So they have to clear that, and then they have to say, this is the spot where it can go. They have to take in consideration the weight, the dimensions of that. So putting the item and get it going will be the first step. It may also remind everyone politely that the city's money is not the city's money. It's our money. We pay taxes. So we're just instructing them on how to spend that money wisely. That's all we're doing. Thank you much.
Thank you. Mr. Sanchez?
So let's get it started, get a place, and we'll find the money.
Yeah,
Yep.
And we'll start the
Absolutely.
donations right here. So, there's no problem.
no, not at all.
Get the place, and we'll get the monument for them.
Let's go ahead and entertain a motion to that effect.
Yeah, so I make a motion that we ask the city to consider looking, to look into area where we can put a monument for Iraq, Afghanistan war monument in Jarvis Plaza. That's my motion.
A second? Second by everybody. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those against? The aye has it unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen, thank you very much, and that is the last item on the agenda. Well, let me look at
Before we
this.
adjourn,
Before we adjourn, let me look, because I need the flashlight.
No, that's it.
Mr. Chairman, as you're looking for that, I know that we keep on saying that the museum, we're gonna push it to the next meeting. I think we might need to do a special meeting if people think it's gonna take, if us, the committee members think it's gonna take too long, or definitely put it on the next agenda.
I think that that is something that we need to look into. As you can see,
Yes,
our attendance has gone down. We have some warriors that are not up to the discussion, that are very, very much involved right now. However, we do need to address it once and for all.
Yes,
I think Major Garcia put a lot of things into perspective when he made the comments about the condition of the building. And let me just say that the condition of the building was that way long before it became a potential spot for the museum. But it does need to be taken care of. Let us talk among our membership to see if we can get enough people to come out here and see if we can put it in the agenda for next month.
So just an FYI, I was just mentioning that.
Yeah, no,
Either way, I'm neutral
right.
on that, I'm just mentioning that.
Okay, how about talking to John Orfila and see if we can use his room, which is beautiful,
It is?
to meet there? And I know that he will accommodate us, since he's got that huge conference, table. And it'll accommodate at least 30 people, you know, or more.
Or more, yeah.
But,
I'll look into it, Mr.
I
Segovia.
look into that because
Yes, sir.
I think that would be the perfect place to meet and we can all be together.
And it's more
Yes.
centralized.
And,
More
yeah.
centralized. The only thing we need is to have recording equipment out
Yes,
there
sir.
to record the
That's
meeting.
one thing that was.
The last time we had the meeting was at PD, you know, and it was even a larger
It's even
room,
larger, yeah.
at the police
But I think John
department.
Orfila's place.
So I think it would be more,
I'll be right back. I'm
more
gonna
at
ask.
home, more togetherness and having this separation.
Okay.
between-
Chairman, what we can try it out as a special meeting for this,
Okay.
for what we were discussing and invite as many, veterans as possible, you know, they can attend and I think it'll be a good trial, like to just try it out and see if it works out for us, the meeting room, Chairman.
Yeah, we can do that.
Sir, I just, okay, go ahead. Now, is this gonna be, Chairman, is this just gonna be within the Veterans Affairs Committee, or is it gonna be open to the public?
Public needs to be.
It's
It needs to
public,
be
and
open.
it's not Veterans Affairs
No,
Committee agenda.
So the
Well-
way it works, if, I believe it's, this committee is open to the public. Voting is only to 11.
Yes, sir.
So if two members, since you're standing up, Mr. Quijano, I'll say if two members of the VFW are here, both of them do not vote, only one vote.
Roger.
So
Yes, sir.
if I remember correctly, Fire Chief and, Chairman, is that's how?
That is correct, but let me just say something else. That if we're gonna succeed, if we're gonna survive as to what we're trying to accomplish here, we don't wanna censor, in my opinion, we don't wanna censor anybody in speaking what they wanna speak at any time.
Right.
And I will hold to that as chairman while I'm chairman. If that cannot be done, I will not be the chairman anymore. Because if we are gonna keep anybody, especially veterans, from saying what they wanna say, then we're not doing our job.
Yeah, and that's why we have public comments, at that time.
But even after that time, if somebody comes in and says, you know, I wanna say something, I'm gonna allow them to do that.
Yes, sir.
If everybody is not in favor of that, then I will just step down, because I think that we're defeating the purpose of what we're trying to accomplish. You
Right.
say, well, you did not sign up, so you can't say anything. And so why are we having this committee meetings if we cannot allow people to say what they wanna say?
I
Yes, sir.
think at the end of the day, I might be mistaken, and hopefully I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody, but from what I'm understanding, this is an open meeting to whoever
Absolutely.
wishes to come and speak. And I believe that this is what the mayor, wanted. So by all means, please do not think that I'm trying to censor anybody. I'm just trying to put it out there what the rules and regulations are.
I did not take it that way. Mr.
Yeah,
Garza.
okay, yeah, I think everybody should come and say their mind and speak their mind.
Yeah,
You get a better contribution
Sure.
of the entire population of Laredo and what they wish.
All we're trying to do is to improve the welfare of the veterans specifically, but the Laredoans in general.
Yes, Chairman. Mr. David Garza, kind of like what I was thinking, is open. I mean, people that know me, I come in, speak my voice, and it should be the same whether you're a veteran or
Or not, yeah,
a
that's why
civilian.
it's a committee,
It-
community, that's why it's
Yes,
a community.
it don't matter within, speak up, that's the way, whether it's for or against, but at least have your say. I mean, that's what we went for. You know, that's why we joined the military. But at the same time, it's, when it comes down to the vote, like we said, it's the committee members, you know, that are gonna vote.
Yes.
That's what it's gonna come down to.
Another
That's what
thing
it's
is,
gonna come down to.
we had-
But to follow up with Mr. Lopez, I mean, whatever money is being spent is everybody's money.
Right, sir.
Yeah, Texas.
You know,
Sir,
and that's
not
what it's
just
all about. So we're trying to improve the veterans in particular's welfare, but at the same time, we hope to be able to improve everybody's welfare.
The whole community itself.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So if we have a person that comes in here because he or she could not get out of work, and we already went past the filling of the card to speak, and we don't allow him to speak, then we're doing everybody a disservice.
And that's something
In
maybe.
my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, you're right, I agree with
That's
that,
something-
110%, sir.
That's something to-
And that's what I mean.
Yeah, no, definitely, I think, oh,
You just brought a good point. Chairman, the hours, maybe for this one, change it where to others can come and actually speak up. Because some might be working, might have school, adjust to them.
And this is an ongoing subject that's been going on for a long time. When I was a county commissioner, I said the same thing, have night meetings, change the meetings along, we never could get it done. But my feelings on that has never changed. I've been set on that, you know, that we need to make it open to the public, make it transparent.
Exactly.
And allow everybody to speak their piece.
Yes, sir.
I think,
Mr. Vela.
Mr.
I already
Jimenez,
spoke.
So that's all I have to say,
I
Chairman.
think Mr. Jimenez needs to say something.
No, well, I went next door to speak with the ones that are recording. Mr. Orfila's building does not have recording capabilities. He said that the library does, and that's big enough. Maybe we can meet there. That one does have recording.
Huh?
Another thing.
Somebody mentioned the library earlier.
Another thing is we do have 11 groups. It doesn't have to be just a representative, an alternative. You could invite your group.
Yeah.
Your groups are big. We should have other members of the group also here, not just two
Not
people
just
from the
two,
group.
right.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes, Chairman, for the record, Gabriel Lopez, I will put an item on for our next meeting, dealing with this particular, topic, in which I believe it could be accomplished, to include everyone, but it will also include some, informational workshops for the people, for the citizens of Laredo. So that would be my take, that we take it that in a systematic, chronological, educational way to approach this and to solve this problem once and for all. And if it gets accepted, it gets voted, you know, but I think we should do it in that sense where everybody's included, and everybody, knows we have to educate the public as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Because of this item, has gotten a lot of publicity, has been going on for 12 years now. It's been going on for a while when it was voted on. I think maybe whenever we have this item, whether it be next meetings or whenever we do, maybe we should have it here. Because it has
Gonna be
the capabilities of more people, it has all the recording and everything. For that, when that item is on the agenda, maybe we should have that meeting here.
Sir, another thing is Ms. Perez recommended that whenever that does come to an agenda, it's only gonna be the only thing on the agenda. She did mention that.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna
And
be
it might
so
need
big.
to be like, there
It might
need
need
to be a
to
special
do that. It
meeting.
doesn't have to be a special meeting, we just keep it to that one on the agenda, unless there's something that's very pressing, then we can add it, but we can keep it just to that agenda. Okay?
Okay.
Final word on the final word on the announcement that he made at the opening of the meeting. Thank you so much for looking into that WBCA positions for us veterans.
Yes, sir.
You said that we would be coming out right after the dignitaries or who?
Yes.
Dignitaries, politicians are gonna go like always up front, and then
like-
instead of being scattered, and I've seen that because I work the parade, we do inspections there, and I did notice that they're scattered, but now they're gonna be in date behind the dignitaries, politicians
Okay.
in order.
Thank you so much for looking into that. And also, maybe by next meeting, I would like to have a copy of your 11 organizations.
I can give it to you right now, sir.
And that way, maybe by next meeting, I know that we always like to come out on the WBCA parade, okay? I know that Korean War veterans and also Afghan Iraq, they also come out. But so maybe next time on our next meeting, we can all say, yes, we're gonna be out there, so we can arrange ourselves according to war, you know, maybe World War II veterans who wish to come out, Korean War veterans, Vietnam War veterans, and then, you know, so that people can identify the different eras,
Yes, sir.
okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that just goes to show that some good things are coming out of this meetings here. I mean, we're growing and we're getting better, we're learning as we go, and we'll take the items as they come, you know, and this is one item that needs to be put to bed already, one way or the other, and so we'll see what happens. Yes, sir.
There was a period of time when there used to be a recognition of a veteran at a council meeting. I think it would take place once a month, if I'm not mistaken. And I was wondering why that was phased out, and if we could bring that back to honor, it could be a Gold Star mother, it could be a veteran of any era, that we can recognize for their service like we used to do it.
And I could answer that.
Gentlemen, go ahead.
I can speak to that. I was the guy behind that measure, that push. I was doing it for the first 3 or 4 months. It was about two and a half years ago, 3 years. And then the city took over, and the way they did it was nomination. And when I was doing it, I was just select somebody. The problem that they're having now is that the public is not, they're not nominating veterans for that. And then COVID hit, and that created another problem. So right after COVID, once things normalize, I think it'll pick up, but it's still on.
Okay.
It's still on.
Okay.
Somebody reached out to my office not too long ago to start working that again. So just, and it was from the city, the individual.
Okay.
So they're thinking about it, not too sure which way they're gonna go on it yet, but it sounded like they were moving forward on it. They're just trying to, make sure that the second wave or third or whatever wave we're on, that, you know, it surpasses, so it'd be safe to bring, those family members in. That was what was expressed to me on my official capacity in the office.
Okay. I would also like just, I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
I talked to Pete Sines yesterday at the funeral, and he says, go to his office, he's got the application, it's ongoing. He's got the application, fill it out, he'll take care of it.
Okay.
But it's there.
Could those nominations be made in this committee?
Pete Sines' office.
No, they're made by the city council.
Okay, I got you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, I have it. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. We'll see you next month.